Anxiety. I've lived with anxiety my whole life. Unfortunately, to give you the full scope, I have to get personal. Not good for me, but it'll help you. What anxiety is, it's obviously a really eager anticipation for something coming up in the future. You know, if you've read The Power of Now, people say if you live too much in the past, it can put you in a depressive state. And if you look too far into the future, it can put you in an anxious state. And the nice equilibrium is to be present in the moment. That's the whole concept. Now, if you are always anticipating something in the future, you're going to be quite anxious, right? And this can come from a number of reasons, whether, you know, genetically you're inclined to do so, or if you've been through a lot of traumatic experiences like myself. It wasn't until I really unpacked this that I realized this was a constant state of fight or flight. And even small problems that would come up, I would make friends with the worst case scenario just so I'm prepared. It would make me anxious and it'll put me in a state of fight or flight. So I've always operated from this frame, even to the point where I would always be anxious even when things were good, because I'm anticipating problems coming up. Future proofing, and part of that is because of my role as a male to provide and protect for my family. So I like to anticipate problems before they happen and put out these little fires. And at some point I thought that was a superpower until I realized that I'm just turning everything into a bigger thing than it had to be. So let's really, that's what anxiety was for me. For you, it might be a little bit different, but it is that constant state of fight or flight. It's being in a heightened state, worrying about something's going to come up in the future. And that's what we have to work on fixing. So we're going to identify what it is first, and then we're going to come up with strategies to deal with that. Because anxiety, just that hit in your chest and that the knot in the stomach and just the feeling, it's awful. It doesn't matter where you are, you're not there. You're stressed about something. I had a problem come up to me that was so overwhelming that I basically had to detach from the outcome, and I have to just be like, you know what, F it. I don't know how people can just, you know, live in the moment and not be prepared for what comes their way, but there's a bit of beauty in that. So I'm going to go over some strategies as to how to fix this now. Number one, when it comes to anxiety, stress. This is not something that you can tell yourself not to feel or do some breath work and fix or anything like that. Stress and anxiety primarily comes from not taking action. Having a problem or something in your scope, having the power to change it and not changing it. That procrastination, that lack of activity is going to create angst. That's your body's way of saying, hey, like, I'm trying to give you some energy now to deal with this problem. A lot of people will have anxiety because they'll have something that they need to fix and they won't fix. And what they'll do is they'll shield and soothe. They will, you know, distract themselves. They'll talk to other people, they'll drink, they'll watch TV, whatever they need to do to distract themselves and not handle the problem. You got to handle your problems. You got to identify what's causing the stress and come up with a plan to eliminate that. It's only when things are outside of your realm of control and power that you need to employ other tactics that are going to help you deal with it. If you can master the art of only focusing on things that are in your control, your life will be amazing, because you'll fix those problems quicker. And when something's out of your realm of control and you know that for a fact, you can just let it go. A lot of people stress about things that they can't control. Let's look at the economy, for example, right? Everyone's stressed about the economy and rising prices and stuff. Okay, so what can you focus on? You can focus on increasing your hourly rate, increasing your career, increasing your job, saving better, making better investments. There's so much that's in your realm of control that will make you feel better and less stressed. But if you just look at the whole blanket of, oh, the economy is going to be tough, you're going to be constantly stressed. So if you can just compartmentalize each thing and focus on what's in your realm of control and take action steps towards that, your anxiety will be halved, if not more. So that's one, is focus on things that are in your realm of control and actually take action. So that's important. But I'd always said, for me, I'm 36, successful business, financially well off, everything in my life is really good. And I feel like I used anxiety as a superpower to do that, because I'd see problems when they are small. I'd be so on top of it that I could put those fires out very quickly. And I thought that was a feather in my cap until just recently. I was so perspicacious and always looking for problems and putting them out that I could never really delve and enjoy it. And I was in a place of fight or flight. I was always ready to fight, and I was always ready to do what was required to put those fires out. But let me tell you a personal perspective from anxiety for me, right? My anxiety always came from lack. Low income area, no friends, no support system. It was just me, and I wasn't capable of doing much, and I was always at risk of all the elements that were around me. So there was a lot to be anxious about. I was in a constant state of fight or flight all the time. So that was my framing. It's really hard to undo that conditioning. I've used that to my benefit, and that's why I'm successful, but at what cost? I burned out so many times. I've been depressed and suicidal so many times because I'm just like, had enough, burned out. Because I burned out, I was talking to a naturopath, and I was going to get my levels looked at. I was constantly running low on energy, so I thought, something wrong with my testosterone, something wrong with my hormones or whatever. But he said, no, it's because I'm constantly heightened and then needing to recharge, burning out. And he said, rather than any supplementation or anything that he could administer, he said, Daniel, you've arrived. You're there. This is life today. I would always be planning for the future and worried about the future and stuff. And it got to a point where it's like 25, 30, 35. Like, at what point, just breathe and slow and stop. You've arrived. You're living. You've done it. I realized because of my upbringing and all the fear that was around me and having to fight, scratch and claw for everything that I've got, that it embedded into my fabric. And that anxiety was slowly killing me, because even though I was successful on paper, I did it. It meant nothing to me because of my state. This one house in which you actually live was in turmoil. When he told me I'd arrived and all you have is right now, it just took it all away. There wasn't a supplement or a strategy that I could take or do that would have made me feel better than that. And now I operate from, I want to make progress, but not at the cost of my peace. Right now in this moment, this is who you are, this is what you have. There's no other strategy that can help with anxiety more than that. So when you breathe, okay, you've done it. There's nothing that you're going to do in this lifetime that's of more significance than just being here and being alive. Yeah, we've got bills to pay, you'll do it. The calmer you are, the more you're going to be able to work anyway. If you're in a state of anxiety, your mind and your heart rate is so heightened and so fast, and your thoughts are so rapid that you can't focus anyway. You need to actually channel that energy into something. So if you are really anxious, the best thing to do is actually to work out, calm down, and then come up with a strategy and go from there. A lot of people that will come up from, tumultuous upbringings and stuff will also be very successful, but they'll run into this problem as well, and it's that hustle culture. It's always that, let's grind, let's chase, let's hunt. If you're chasing, something's running away from you, and you'll never catch it. Just chasing. You've arrived, okay? Just breathe, slow it down. The one thing that's changed my anxiety has been my faith. It's just been me my whole life, just me. I'm responsible for what I do, what I don't do, how I respond to what happens to me. I'm responsible for everyone in my life, and if I don't do the work, nothing's going to get done. And that just puts it all on me. And before I had my faith in God, I just put all that emphasis and that stress and everything on my shoulders. Until I heard, if you're full of anxiety, it means you lack faith. You lack faith in a higher source. We're all created for a reason, and a lot of those things are destined for us as well. You just got to do your best in the moment, relax. Look, I can make this video, and there's going to be other things that you can do. Obviously, there's supplements you can take. My sister's a naturopath. She has me on, L-theanine and all these other things, and you can ground and do all that stuff. There's all these strategies that you can do to fix anxiety as well. But I want to fix this to the core, and the core is that you're going to die anyway, right? So you're going to sit down and worry about all these little things constantly all the time that are taking away the quality of your life right now in the moment. Stress less. There's a line that someone said, and it sounds harsh, but it actually really helped me. It said, sometimes you're not anxious, sometimes you're just a bitch. Like, if your problems are stressing you out and they're small, then just stop being a bitch. Not everything's that serious. Right now you're worried about all these things. Like, what's the worst case that's going to happen? We're so hardwired, and life will never be perfect. You have to breathe and just live each day as it comes. I've learned, especially running a business, sometimes things in the business will be going great and I feel great, and sometimes things in the business will be going bad and I feel awful. I've had to learn that I've been doing this business now for I don't know how many years. This is going to be ongoing. I have to treat it like a job. Bad week, shake it off. Have the weekend, come back and just work it again. The same thing in life. Problems are always going to come up. Breathe, write down what can be done, write down what's outside of your realm of control, take action steps towards it, and then go for a walk on the beach and breathe. It's that simple. Anyway, I kind of rambled on this video. It's such a massive topic, and there are some key strategies that people can do, but I really want to give people my experience, my takeaways, and hopefully it helped you.